If once in the heart of the African wilderness the dry season lingered too long, the river that once flowed freely through the savannah had shrunk to a mere trickle, leaving the land thirsty, the trees brittle, and the grass golden under the relentless sun. The animals, once at ease with nature's rhythms, now found themselves facing a challenge they had not known for generations. Water was running out, and everyone knew it. Tensions simmered, especially near the remaining watering holes where the strongest often pushed the weaker aside. But the drought did not favor strength alone. It made the fast quicker, the clever sharper, and the small more resourceful. It was no longer enough to be mighty. Survival demanded cunning, speed, and resilience. One day, as the heat pressed down like a blanket of fire, the wind shifted. A distant scent filled the moisture. The animals lifted their heads, sniffing, listening. The elephants, with their great trunks, could sense it best. Far to the east, across the vast plains and beyond the mountain range, lay a hidden lake, fed by an underground spring. Its waters were said to be cool, deep, and abundant, but it was no secret. Many animals knew of it, but few had ever dared to make the journey, for it was perilous and long. The challenge was clear. Whoever reached the lake first would secure water not just for themselves, but for their families, their herds, their packs. But it wasn't a journey that could be made alone. Each animal would need to rely on their strengths and outwit their rivals if they hoped to survive the race. The sun set on the savannah, and as the full moon rose, casting an eerie glow over the dry grass, the race began. The cheetah, swift as the wind, darted ahead first. Its lean body, built for speed, sliced through the night air, each powerful stride carrying it closer to the distant mountains. But the cheetah knew it could not maintain this speed forever. It could outrun any predator, but was cursed with little endurance. And so it made its plan, to sprint ahead, find a place to rest, and keep far enough ahead to finish the journey before exhaustion could catch up. In the distance, the lion watched the cheetah race ahead, but was not concerned. The lion, with its regal mane and mighty strength, did not rely on speed. No, the lion's power lay in its endurance and patience. Step by step, it advanced with confidence, knowing that while others might tire, it would never falter. The lion had survived many hunts, some lasting days, and this journey was no different. What it lacked in speed, it made up for with determination. Behind the lion came the wildebeest in a thundering herd, their hooves pounding the earth like a drumbeat. The wildebeest were neither the fastest nor the strongest, but what they had was unity. Together they formed a wall of muscle and willpower. They knew that predators would hesitate to attack such a force, and by traveling as one, they shared the burden of the journey, switching leaders to allow each member of the herd to rest. Strength in numbers was their key. Up in the trees, the monkeys swung from branch to branch, chattering and leaping with excitement. While the bigger animals trudged through the savannah, the monkeys took to the treetops, their nimble bodies skipping through the foliage. They didn't need to worry about predators from the ground, but the forest had its own dangers, snakes, sharp thorns, and hidden pitfalls. The monkeys were quick-witted, though, and they knew that even in their carefree antics, they had to stay alert if they wanted to reach the hidden lake first. Flying overhead, the vultures circled, their sharp eyes scanning the earth below. The vultures were not interested in racing to the lake, for they thrived on the struggles of others. They knew that along the way some animals would fall, whether from exhaustion or injury, and they would be there watching, waiting, ready to feast. For them, the race wasn't a competition, it was an opportunity. As the journey continued, the landscape began to change. The golden savannah gave way to rocky outcrops, and the mountain range loomed ahead, jagged and dark against the horizon. The elephants, with their massive frames, trudged steadily up the steep paths, their strength allowing them to carry on where others faltered. But even the elephants grew tired, their heavy bodies sinking into the soft earth as they ascended the mountain. Still they pressed on, for the memory of cool water was enough to keep them moving. On the mountainside, the leopard slinked silently through the shadows. It did not rush, for the leopard knew that haste would lead to mistakes. Its skill lay in stealth and cunning. The leopard would follow the others, staying out of sight, waiting for the moment when their exhaustion became its advantage. It was not the fastest, but it was patient, and patience often won the greatest rewards. Days passed, and the once confident cheetah had slowed, its muscles burning with fatigue. The lion had closed the gap, its steady pace now bringing it alongside the wildebeest, whose herd had begun to splinter from exhaustion. The monkeys, too, had come down from the trees, wary of the rocky cliffs that stretched ahead. It seemed that, as strong or clever as they were, the race was testing each animal's limits. But then, something unexpected happened. Far behind the others, a tiny tortoise was making its way across the savannah. Its shell glistened in the sun, and though its legs were short and its steps slow, the tortoise moved with unwavering determination. At first, no one had noticed the tortoise. After all, it was not fast like the cheetah, nor powerful like the lion, nor agile like the monkeys. But the tortoise had something none of the others possessed, a refusal to give up. As the tortoise plodded along, the other animals began to tire. The cheetah had collapsed under the shade of a tree, too weak to continue. The lion had stopped to rest, its massive paws heavy from the journey. The wildebeest, once a mighty herd, had scattered in search of easier paths. Even the elephants, so strong and sure, had paused to catch their breath. But the tortoise did not stop. Step by step, it moved forward, never looking back, never doubting its path. The others had raced ahead, but the tortoise had outlasted them all. It climbed the mountain slowly but surely, reaching the summit as the sun set behind it, casting a long shadow over the savannah below. At the edge of the mountain, the hidden lake shimmered in the distance, its waters clear and inviting. And as the tortoise reached the water's edge, it dipped its head, taking a long, cool drink. The race was over. The tortoise had won, not by speed, not by strength, but by sheer persistence. The story teaches that perseverance is often more powerful than strength or speed. Even when others seem to be ahead, the one who continues without giving up will reach their goal. True success comes not from rushing, but from never stopping.